just beeped someone by accident. Probably think I'm being a right dick. Dickweed! Fucking motorbike. Fucking bastard, baby. Who does he think he is? Hey, what's up, LubeTube? It's Bobby Fat. How's it going? So, thought I'd take this opportunity to do a quick review of Suzuki Bandit 1250s. I got it as a courtesy bike after a sorry mate didn't see you a couple of weeks ago, and I got my own bike back now. So this is going back tomorrow, so I just thought I'd take the opportunity to give you guys a little rundown of how I've got on with this bike. So I'll go for a little ride, pick up the missus a bottle of wine. She's had a long day, and while I'm doing that, I'll talk to you guys about it. So it's I believe about 85 horses. We'll do 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds. You can pick one up on Auto Trader or MCN for around 3 grand. A little bit, you know, bottom end around 3 grand for a decent one-ish. But obviously if you pay a little bit more, you'll get a little bit more for your money. It's a very comfortable bike. It's an inline 4, so I'm more used to twins, whether they're parallel twins like my BMW or opposing twins like the BMW, or parallel twins like my Honda. I've pretty much only really gotten to know twins, so it's been quite interesting getting used to the sounds and feel of this engine, which is very different. It finds its little power band somewhere else, where I'm used to slightly less refined, perhaps, engines, but that have torque all the way through the rev range, whereas this bad boy is it just kind of finds its way there a slightly different way. And I've left my wallet indoors, so I hope I've got enough cash on me to get that bottle of wine I promised my missus. Otherwise, I'm gonna be in trouble. So yeah, so the seat is very comfortable. I like it a lot. At first I felt like the bike was a bit snatchy, but actually when I ride it side by side to my BMW, the BMW is more snatchy. Yeah, obviously being a 1200, it's got lots of power. It's not a little bike, it's not a beginner's bike, but it's not an untamed beast. It doesn't come with much in the way of riders, aids, or any of that sort of gubbins. The brakes are so-so, nothing special. It's got ABS on it. That's about as far as the luxuries go on this. It doesn't have heated grips, doesn't have any of that sort of business. It's got ABS. The ABS did come into play the other day. for me. It was chucking it down with rain, so I had on my high-vis waterproof stuff, and I was on the motorway on the way home. Basically, I saw some brake lights come on, so started to slow down. Saw the brake lights didn't go off. The car in front just started looming up real fucking quick, and I realised that they were doing an emergency stop. And then I saw them go into the back of the car in front of them, and I was having to grab a whole lot more front brake and obviously putting the back brake on as well than I felt comfortable doing, and of course the ABS then started kicking back. I wasn't going to have been able to stop in time, so I had to swerve to avoid the impact. And considering that was only about a week after I'd already had a sorry mate didn't see you, I could have done without it. So I managed to avoid the accident anyway. It was all okay in the end. But a bit too close for comfort. Like I say, I mean, in that weather, I mean, there's only so much you can expect the brakes to do. And you know, it just sort of reiterated to me that you just need to leave a lot more distance between you and whoever's in front of you in the wet weather. So, you know, no harm done and a lesson learned. And, you know, I was very grateful for that ABS because it stopped me from losing the front wheel. I know he was on a scooter, but, you know, we're all in the same boat. Not be a dick, I'll always give him a nod. They'll always get a nod, even if they are a knob. Just because he's 12 and he's got a scooter. So yeah, so I do like this bike. I like the seating position. It's a good... It would make a good sort of winter hack, that sort of thing. It's a very decent, very capable bike that doesn't cost too much. It's no frills, but it's very comfortable. It's got a great seating position. I would prefer to have Brembos on it or something, some better brakes and heated grips are the two mods that I'd probably do on this. But apart from that, it's a pretty much ready to go off the shelf bike. But you know, obviously you'd have to get probably an old one. But yeah, it's not hideous. It has a half fairing. I don't like half faired bikes, semi-faired bikes. It just looks like something's missing. It's like either fair it or don't fair it, but yeah, that's just personal preference. And yeah, I'd say the mirrors are good. I heard some people complain that the mirrors are too big, but personally I kind of like to keep the mirrors as a, you know, they're wider than me, so if I don't think that I can squeeze through with the mirrors, I'm not going to try and squeeze through with myself. So I just use them as a pretty good sort of marker for how much space I've got when I'm filtering. So, you know, but some people have complained about the mirrors being too big. I think they're okay. I think they're fairly decent. They're not the best mirrors I've used, but they're good. They're better than my Honda's was. Switchgear is actually really good. A lot of bikes, it's quite spongy. You only know that really you've engaged the indicator or something when you see the light flashing on the instrument cluster, and on this you can feel it. You can feel when it engages, which is really nice. So the switchgear on this is probably the best that I've come across so far. It's got a nice analog tack. It's got a nice clear digital speedo. It's got a fuel gauge. The fuel economy on it is a bit rubbish, I'll be honest. It's not brilliant. It's an old sort of 1250, so it's not going to be the most fuel efficient bike in the world, and it's not. It feels planted in the corners. This is a lovely road to try that out. I'm not going to do full tuck and lean but it feels nice and planted. It's got a good rake on it and everything. So yeah, I really like this bike actually. It took me a while to warm to it. It took me a few days, but then as well, I only got to use it in the wet. for the first while, it was just constantly wet, chucking it down, and I just had an accident and I was a bit paranoid. And I thought it was going to be a bit of an untamed beast compared to my very modern BMW, but actually it is fine. It doesn't kick out at the low revs or anything like that, like I sort of thought it might. So yeah, it's a really good bike. I totally recommend it as a winter hack or something. It's not too high, not too low. For somebody who's say 5'10", like me, perfect size bike. If you're looking for just something that, you know, isn't a poser's bike, but that is very capable, very comfortable, good commuter, and has got a bit of oomph to it, get one. Really good bike. If you want something that it looks a bit slick, has mod cons, and is better on the fuel economy, probably best to keep looking. Maintenance is going to be easy and fairly low cost because it's a Suzuki. And there we go, kicks out at about 5,000 revs is where it comes alive. So yeah, so I'm just going to enjoy this little ride back. Try not to be too naughty. And yeah, I think I missed this bike a little bit actually. I'm signing off. Have a cracking day. See ya. To the front of the queue. To the front of the queue. Right, time to get some wine. Wine your body. Wiggle your belly. Success on the wine front. Happy wife awaits.